Yeah, that right there. That's how I want to start my podcast. I'm Genevieve Randall. I'm a music nerd. And I've done a lot of radio, but I've never taken on a project quite like this. I'm stepping out of the studio, and I'm going to take you with me on a personal journey to hear the sounds of the town in which I live. And I'm going to take you all over. From here. To here. And maybe we'll swing around to over here. This is going to be fun. But first, a little bit about me. You ever have someone ask you if you've been somewhere like Dallas or Minneapolis or Denver, and you have that moment where you pause and think, well, I have been there, but only in the airport, or only driving through, I didn't stop. I didn't meet anyone from there. So, does that really count? You know that feeling. Well, I started wondering that about the place I've lived in my entire life. You're listening to the Plain Story Podcast Season 2. This season, we're exploring the concepts of home, identity, and music. What is home?
My personal way at looking at home is it's the place that you have to contribute to without having to justify it.
That's Kenan Azmeh, a renowned clarinetist and composer from New York City. We'll be talking with him and other musicians like Hassan Khalil, who lives in my town. Home for him is something different.
I say home where my kids at, my mom, my parents' house, or our house, yeah.
But home could also be an idea, a place you can go to, if not in reality, in your mind.
I go back in memory to my village, especially when I play music, actually, and I feel I'm there.
That's Ziad Sheikh, and this is his music that takes him to the home of his past in Iraq. Since I'm a music nerd, these are the ideas I want to explore. I want to know what the role of music is in creating a sense of home. We're going to meet people where I live, Lincoln, Nebraska, and knock down some of the myths about the meat and potatoes image of the Midwest. We'll listen to music being created right here on the Great Plains, but with roots from all over the world, like Ziad's Yazidi music. And this music that travels from Syria and New York. How does all that play in minds and hearts to create a sound of home? Or, in the case of guitarist Daniel Martinez, how it colors their memories.
My dad used to put a lot of classical music at home as a way to wake us up, as an alarm. Yeah, I hate it.
It's Friday morning, and I'm up, mostly, at 7 a.m. Good. See you later. Last night, I was working a bit late, organizing music, laying out the timeline of how I'm going to interview different guests live on the radio for an hour. This is my life. Maybe you've heard me on NET Radio, Nebraska's NPR station.
Starting off this morning concert here on this Thursday with a piece by Tchaikovsky.
Yep, that's my radio voice. Usually when people ask me about my job, I say I'm the music director and a weekday host for the local NPR station. I play mostly classical music, but I do step it up to the 20th and 21st century when I host another program called The Verge.
Radio for 2 hours of music on The Verge.
And every Friday, I interview musicians, performers, and artists for a live arts and culture show called Friday Live.
Good morning and welcome to Friday Live here on NET Radio, live from the Mill in Lincoln's Haymarket.
In my life, there's one big common thread, and that's music. I've been a musician my whole life. I started playing recorder at age 4. I've been playing flute since 5th grade. And these days, I try to play as much as I can in different ensembles. And when I'm not playing music, my job is to talk about and bring other people's music to listeners across the state.
The award and that Yo-Yo Ma is just such a nice person, even with the international music career that he has. Yo, in his name, in Chinese, means friendship.
Which, by the way, I also get to serve as a bit of an ambassador for my home state, Nebraska. And I am fiercely proud of this state. Yes, Nebraska. I know what people say.
Attract vacationers. Earlier this week, they unveiled a new campaign ad with
It's not for everyone.
Just revealed its actual new slogan, Nebraska, honestly, it's not for everyone.
Oh, man, come on now.
But that's part of what I love about it, Stephen Colbert. The destinations aren't obvious. In Nebraska, if you search a bit, you'll find wonderful surprises, and I pride myself on finding them. Friday Live is sort of a testament to that.
At 11 a.m., experience Andean cultures through storytelling and traditional South American instruments.
My job takes me all over the state. We frequently do our shows on the road, and I absolutely cherish finding out who and what is down the next country highway. There's Stromsburg, the Swedish capital of Nebraska. There's Lexington, where amongst the corn and soybeans, you'll find panaderias and a Sudanese restaurant advertising fresh camel's milk. I love being reminded that Nebraska has always been made up of so many different cultures. So in this podcast, I want to take my passion, music, and test its ability to find connections among those different cultures. Music is a universal language. It's stated as truth, but I want to see it in action. Join me as we start a conversation about how we hear one another in Season 2 of the Plain Story podcast, which we're calling The Sound of Home. On the next episode, I travel only a few blocks to discover a world I never knew existed. The Plain Story podcast, The Sound of Home, is produced by NET Nebraska. I'm your host, Genevieve Randall. Our producer is Brian Seiferlein, and our associate producer is Monica Starr. Our field audio is by Emily Kreutz, Nathan Toddhunter, and Andy Bigham. We had editing from Alex Epperson and mixing by Nathan Toddhunter. Our graphics are by Joe McMullen. Bill Anderson is our radio network director. Chad Davis is our executive producer. Special thanks to Golden Studio, Eric Higgins, and the Lincoln Crossroads Music Festival. See you on the next episode.